I have to. Well, Erica, you wanted more responsibility. This is what it looks like. I got a fever, and the only cure is George R.R. Martin's views on war and peace. I got a fever, and the only cure is Fevre River by George R.R. Martin, 1982 Locus and Nebula Award winner. So welcome to the Fevre Dream. Finishing up, I'll talk about Fevre Dream. I mean it this time. No more Fevre Dream after this, except for Damon Julian. And maybe we'll come up with a little game to play for Sour Billy. Not like a drinking game, but like a trivia for, you know, every time Damon says, "What would we do without you, Billy?" Or something like that. I don't know. I'm between two motor-grabbing steamboats here. I got the riverboat Natchez, and that's how you pronounce it, Ron. It's Natchez. All right, you ain't gotta be. At the time of George R. Martin's Fevre Dream, the type of gentleman who is doing this lovely voice narration. He has warmed up his voice lovingly. He enjoys his job. He's glad to be working like we all are. Hey, how you doing out there? And the white plague, white people are killed and everybody because we're dumb and evil. Boom, 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 boom. We've gone over your factions, and what is the moral of the story, all right, is two opposing sides. You got Abner Marsh, who's a bit of a... Your boy Abner Marsh, he spent most of the story being kind of a dong and being a D and being annoying. But in the end, he decides to make a choice and help Joshua York try to support his people the night by giving them the Fevre River. You got Joshua York. He's kind of a new wave. He's a normal dumb American who wasn't leaning left or right. And then he meets Joshua York, a vampire. Joshua York, turns him under his cause, which is I've got this drink, you know, that we drink, and it's fake blood. It's your pre-HBO, pre-Charlene Harris, True Blood stuff that Joshua York came up with all by himself instead of like in a Japanese lab, right? But Damon Julian and your boy Sour Billy, they just throw a whole bunch of wrenches up in those. Boy, I'm fogging these up. I gotta get myself some wipers, you know? Billy is the opposite of the Abner Marsh because, I don't know, he's a disgusting man, but he's got goals to be more disgusting. That kind of makes him a little endearing. Abner Marsh is like, hey, you know, vampires can exist along us as long as they got their drink and they're not drinking people, but Damon Julian is just like, Damon Julian, we don't really know what he wants. I don't need your drink. I haven't felt the thirst in 1,000 years. I feed because that is what I am and what I do. I am higher being. And you are all cattle. I love Damon Julian. What can I say? He knows who he is, all right? And he's been a lot of people, just like your Uncle Jacky. I mean, I've been Jackie D. Well, the less said, the better, all right? Let's just say. Yeah. Gigi Allen wants to be Damon Julian, so kind of like Abner Marsh wants to be Joshua York, you know, the part where he gets the same outfit with the silver buttons. Oh, that guy. A loser crack. His experience by trying to help Joshua York's underground steamboat railroad of vampires, if you will. Through that experience, he decides to join the cause. The cause at the time is the Motor-Grabbing Civil War. So Abner Marsh, he's now gonna be a rough rider for the Union, all right? I wonder if he was a Union man himself later on. He probably might have been. G did. Oh, that Abner, he's so funny. But yeah, he ends up actually working for the real Underground Railroad. Thank you, Queen Tubman, lady of the leading the people to freedom. Love that girl. Yeah, a black guy wouldn't have been able to do the voiceover, but very glad that he can now. Let's hope that stays, and we get even more of that. Sometimes I think I should have named Jeannie Harriet, you know? I guess with a name less New Jersey, she might have been a little bit nicer of a gal. I still love her though. It's just her mind. Lydia! Lydia, you make my soul weep. All right, so Marsh eventually joins the Northern cause in fights in the Civil War against the South and for the abolishment of slavery. So did he make a difference? Well, he made a difference to Joshua York. Joshua York kept him in his heart the rest of his very long days, since he's a people at a poison at a night, and he can live about 1,000 years or more. You know, the afterwards says he kept visiting the old man's grave after he died, of course. I mean, it's not like Edna Moss became a zombie. It ain't that kind of movie. They only introduced one kind of supernatural being. And they made it sort of scientific the way your boy George R.R. always does. He's like, I got a bit of horror. I got a bit of science. Let's science up the horror. Let's horror up the science and make it a little more believable, you know? What does he say? Like, it's in the religion of the dreamer, right? You know? It's like lies mixed with truth, worst of all, right? You know? Joshua York's love of humanity and desire to be involved with them didn't change because of Adna Mosh, but because of his experiences on the steamboat with Adna Mosh and his people, he had to go back underground. Now, the important lesson here that people out in the streets, in your communities, and on our school campuses telling us is we're not going to go back underground. We're done doing that. So I, for one, am glad that nobody's going back underground now, but there's a few, you know, who probably should, all right? WildCards, just, you know, those type of people, you know, stupid. I'm a cattle rancher. I'm going to take it back from the government. The government going to take it to public land and private land. So, in the end, Joshua York and Abner Mosh changed each other. And in the end, Damon didn't like lose nothing except his life. He always maintained who he was. And Sour Billy was able to, you know, I don't know. Sour Billy was able to finally realize he was being played for a tool and a fool. Hey! There you have it, the Fevre Dream by the George R.R. Martin. Your Uncle Jacky went ahead and took you on a little trip into Mississippi, all right? We got to see where Sour Billy might sell his slaves, where an a-hole like Damon Julian might keep his sugar plantation or indigo plantation that failed. And we got to have some nice conversations with our friends, you know? Don't forget that, hit that subscribe button. All right, friends to the reach. Your Uncle Jacky loves you. And up next, we might just be talking about that son of a dunk, all right? Love you guys. Be good out there. Wear your mask. End racism. Don't be racist. And if you're going to be a bag of dongs, just eat a bag of dongs, all right? We're going to be doing something totally different next. I do understand that I dropped a couple of hints about how much don't like your boy, Sir Duncan, the tall. I mean, he was tall, I guess. Depends what you mean. But I know other people cover that, so I just might be doing something totally out of left field for you guys. Let's just say a little hint here. Golden Boy, Demise, the great and powerful. All right, now I gotta go. I got a chunk of do.